Hi folks, Six Slices here. Now this is a short version of this video because I've done a full version which is about half an hour long. And for those who love these knives, they'll want more. But there are other people who'll just be interested to see it and no more than that. This is the Jacklore camp knife. You can see the Jacklore logo here. Jacklore is Sandy Jack, who is a Wiltshire-based knife maker who has two YouTube channels, Jacklore and Wiltshire Man. So I'll just run through this very, very quickly in this video just so that you can get an idea. The scabbard handmade, or sheath handmade by Sandy, all the stitching done, the welting, and it is probably the best made sheath I've ever seen for any knife. Run through the knife itself. It's 01 tool steel. It has a 5 1/4 inch blade, which is considerably larger than the Bushlaw Classic. Now this isn't a Bushlaw Classic, and it's not even a Jacklore Classic. This is from Arthur Wright. It's an Ashley Harrison one-off actually, and it has a flat ground blade rather than Scandi, but the size is the same as the Woodlaw Classic. So you can see this is quite a considerably larger blade, slightly longer handle, and it's a beefier, heavier handle. So it's 01 tool steel, has a full Scandi grind going to a 0 edge. It's hardened, and it's hardened to well into the 60s and then tempered back with I think it's a 3-stage heat cycle, which he then tests on his own Rockwell tester, and this one here has a hardness of 53 Rockwell. 59.3 Rockwell. Sorry. Where the original hardening, it takes them well into the 60s, and it's tempered back to 59.3, which Sandy feels is just spot on for a knife of this type. Too brittle, too hard and it's brittle, too soft and it will roll too easily. This is just perfect. It's tough and has a reasonable amount of edge retention. Talking of edge, it is the sharpest knife I have ever had out the box, and considering I've had 2 Rocksteads, that is honestly an accolade, which is quite phenomenal. Hand done, hand sanded, hand sharpened. Obviously the grain's done on a belt sander. In terms of the handle, it is a tapered, there's a 4mm thick blade. It tapers down to about 3mm in the tang. Red G10 liners. The handle scales are desert ironwood. They are also tapered to match the taper of the tang, so that the grain on one side of the knife is parallel with the grain on the other scale of the knife. It's epoxied together with a series of holes drilled inside internally to create pockets for the epoxy to make sure it's a really strong hold, and then it has 8mm Loveless bolts. So this knife is, and also an epoxied in brass lanyard tube. So this knife is pretty much indestructible. Red G10 liners, which I can't remember if I said or not. You normally stabilise the wood. I don't think desert ironwood is stabilised just because it's too dense. It doesn't really stabilise. It doesn't need to be stabilised. It's already dense enough. It's solid enough. I can't think what else I want to tell you about it. I managed to stretch it out to 30 minutes on the other one. As I say, size-wise, compared to the Bushlaw Classic, compared to the Falkneven Embla, and compared to a Mora. I can't remember what this Mora is called, but obviously you can see it is slightly larger than each and every one of those. Is it any more capable of in this world than the Mora? Given that it's larger, that perhaps skews things a little, but in terms of the what it will actually cut and so forth, the Mora will probably do most of it, but it will never look as beautiful as this. It will never be as nice in the hand as this. It will never have a stunning sheath as this. It's horses for courses. If you just want a cheap knife to work with, buy a Mora. If you want a knife that will last you a lifetime and you can, pass on as an heirloom, then get yourself a Jacklore. It's one of those knives, everybody wants to have an original Woodlaw, Allen Wood Woodlaw but those who really know their onions buy a Jacklore, because there's so much more development gone into it over the years to just perfect it, just to get the handle shape right and so forth. And this obviously is a slightly bigger version. There's a sort of almost a guard here in the ricasso, which is really, really good. Lanyard obviously is an aftermarket that I made. But anyway, that's enough to say about this knife. That's just over the 5-minute mark. If you really want to see a bit more about it and some chat about how it all works and how the Rockwell is measured, because it's done in a special way, then please watch the full-length video. Otherwise, there we are. If you like the stuff, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of these, subscribe, and remember to ring the bell if you want to get notifications. Thank you very much. Bye.